Now, what happened to him next has been heavily scrutinized, attempted to be fictionalized, but facts are facts, and every argument has fallen flat. On its face, it seemed chaotic, but if we're talking about facts, you know the story doesn't end there. I said, the story doesn't end there. Early Sunday morning was preceded by 2 days of mourning and despair. With no merriment, Mary, among the disappointed, made her way to the tomb, along the way still wondering and confused as her questions still loomed, only to realize upon her arrival that the complexities of her inquisitiveness just outgrew what she thought she knew when she found the stone rolled away from an empty tomb. She ran to Simon Peter and the other dude to share this perplexing news. They then all sprinted to the gravesite. The other disciple, getting there first, knelt down and stooped. Peering inside, all he saw was linen cloths with no immediate answers. Both disciples went back home, only left to wonder what in the world was going on. But Mary, still in disbelief, stayed at the scene, hands buried in her face, weeping, still thinking she needed to do a double take inside the grave to confirm the apparent tragedy. When all of a sudden, there was now 2 angels in the tomb, one at the head of where Jesus was laying and one at the feet. And with eyes wider than America's sea to shining sea, she still could not see exactly what was happening. So they asked her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" And before she could finish her explanation, she turned ready to leave, only to be asked by another man, "Why are you weeping, Mary?" Now she's thinking, this must be the thief who took my Jesus? 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 Oh my God, Rabboni! Standing right in front of her was the Son of God in the flesh, 100% alive. Now, before we begin the celebration, we already have seen the diagnosis of my heart. Sin-sick, sadistic pleasure for evilness has engulfed every part of me, a virus so infectious, guilty, not by association, but by willful rebellion against an infinite creator and judge. So if I'm guilty, that means my punishment must be infinite. An incurable disease and an apparent guilty verdict is all that remains. So excuse me if at first glance of Jesus, who is the perfect picture of holiness and righteousness, I would look away and withdraw in shame because of my inherent sin. But I've got good news, my friends. No longer do I have to pretend like I ain't guilty, nor give in to my sin sickness. The judge, who was both just and compassionate, has handed down his verdict. It'd be foolish to deny, but facts are facts. He rose and he rolled the stone away, folded up his linen clothes, and he walked right up out of there. The moment Jesus stepped up out of that grave, the old me stayed in there. I guess you can say he stepped out fresh to death, homie. You see, Jesus really did conquer death. Yes, really. The punishment and curse for all of sinful mankind. And if he conquered the curse, that means there is a sure hope for freedom that lasts forever in a lifetime. For the cost of Jesus' sacred humanity and dignity becoming violated, every sinful and shameful action of mine has been exposed and annihilated. My sin was nailed to the cross, my iniquities buried forever. No longer am I a slave to sin. I'm no longer chained to worldly pleasures. Why should I gain from his reward? I cannot give an answer, but this I know with all my heart. His wounds have paid my ransom. How deep the Father's love for us, how vast beyond all measure, that he should give his only Son to make a wretch his treasure. My performance is now influenced by the truth that my fatal debt has been paid in full. I'm no longer a debtor, but forever a creditor, crediting the one who doesn't allow me to wallow in my sins. So though sin remains ever present, we are called to a life of daily faith, weak, laid out on a stretcher, completely reliant on the finished work of Christ. Disgusted by the sight of my sin, yet daily tasting the joy of his salvation because he is constantly commanding me to taste life. Like a newborn trying to become born again, I don't have to try to live. I just can now live. because Christ lives, the Son of God, resurrected by God for me.